Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akim. This is Nama with the Great Millstone Camp here in DC. Back for another video. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shah, Shem Rakar Bradash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on highways and byways pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth here. All right. Aided by the many, many videos that go up daily. All right. It's impossible to keep a hold of all of them. And this is not just in America. This is from all over the world. All right. And these videos are out there for the edification of the people. Mainly, of course, it's done in order to wake up the remaining, hopefully, elect of our people. But they're there. So, and of course, we realize that a lot of the gainsayers are going to nitpick and choose what they want, mainly in order to come against us, all right, because they're so brainwashed with plantation Christianity, all right. A lot of them, out of pride, don't want to admit that they've been duped, and their precious preacher up there in that pulpit, all right, they still glorify him, that demonic Pied Piper that he is, all right. He's just doing what, you know, again, spreading that plantation Christianity doctrine. All right. So this is copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, which, of course, is what I'm doing. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Once again, fair use, fair use, fair use. All right, so what I'm about to show you now, again, what have we at Great Millstone and those affiliated been telling you about the characteristics and about these Edomites, and it doesn't matter if they come from the Netherlands, Germany, Spain, all right, Italy, Greece, or in this case, Israel. They're all the same people, just different tribes. They are Edom. All right, are there Israelites, true Israelites mixed amongst them? Sure, that's the scattering. All right, and that's Deuteronomy 28, the curses, verse 64, and others. All right. In fact, this is what James 1:1 was talking about. Even back then, we were scattered abroad. All right, even before then. And you're never going to understand this, all right, because on the histories that you learn of, all right, they always leave out the Greek era, all right, and the Hellenization of our people. And of course, Christians are always going to believe what Massa tells them to believe. And that's what's so sad about this, because you're missing out on so much. But as it pertains to this and how your government is just sitting back and allowing this shit. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And it's for various reasons. The main one, of course, is a lot of your esteemed politicians, at least you think so, have been bought and paid for, or these people got something on them, as in blackmail, etc. That sort of thing. And they wouldn't dare fight back. That's like a bloodless coup. Not a shot fired. And this has been going on for a while. That's why people are saying that Kennedy was the last great president. And you see, and it's looking, let me say it this way, it's looking more and more like what happened to him was because of them. Now you have to understand, if they're willing to go through such great lengths of pushing this lie and preserving and doing whatever they have to do to preserve this lie, what else are they going to do? And this is, of course, why we come out with scriptures. Again, it's prophecy. All right, because they've enjoyed enormous wealth and power as a result of this lie of them being who they say they are. Stolen identity. The greatest example of identity theft the world has ever seen. See, these questions people don't ask. What was the real objective of the slave trade? What, just to get a bunch of so-called Africans, which would imply that we were Hamites? Or was it something else? All right, but you got to understand, their very nature betrays them and it also identifies them as to who they are. There's something when we say MO, all right, let's see, which stands for modus operandi, a method of operating or functioning. What have they been known to do all the way back to when they took over what is now Greece, in that area? Followed by when they were the Romans. When I talk about they're the same people, just different tribes, that's what I mean. When you go back with Alexander, what did he do? Just set up tributaries, you know, pretty much your own religions and all that, but you have to pay tribute to me. And tribute is what? Taxes. Then the Romans, who were a lot more heavy-handed. All right, and that goes to that statue in Daniel, 2nd chapter. All right, with the head of gold, which represents a certain empire, and in that case, it's Babylon. And then as each metal go from gold to silver to bronze to iron, all right, as each metal in value decreases, if you understand what I'm saying. And then when it gets to the iron, of course, they were known as the most cruel, that red dragon. All right, and then you get into the characteristics of a dragon. All right, that's all Edom there. Greece, then Greco-Rome, then Rome, and then now we're in the revived Roman Empire. Look at the architecture, look at the Latin and everything, especially in the law, things of that nature. In the history of colonization, on this side of the world, from the time of Columbus, there's that whole history there. And again, modus operandi. All right, so when you hear this video, you'll understand what I mean. Here we go.
I'm here to tell you something different. Israel is ours. New York City is ours. The Jews are the diamonds on the ground over your head.
You heard that right, guys. Straight from the mouth of the racist Zaire Supremacy Klansmen. New York City belongs to them. That Gracie Mansion rally was never about stop Jewish hate or stop anti-Semitism. They just want Mamdani gone so they could put in another mayor that will prioritize their community and align with their values only. So in their eyes,
last one was Adams.
Fuck the black community, fuck the Hispanic community, the Asian community, the brown community, the Muslims, Christians, LGBTQ, atheists, and every other community that's under the sun in New York City. New York City belongs to them and to them only.
See, and that's the thing, because their last mayor, Adams, Jake, he was under their control, and he just recently went out showing that they still got their hooks in him, whatever he did. Where did he go? Was it Indiana? Was it Illinois? or was it Ohio? He went somewhere to give a speech in support of these um, in support of these data centers, and he got booed. But yeah, these are the people that have, for the longest time, all right, like I say, they've gotten great wealth and power at our expense. All right. So let's go to the second one.
It wasn't founded by grabbing a bunch of dudes from other countries, bringing them here.
Again, this guy's currently speaking says America wasn't founded by people getting free apartments, handouts, and welfare. Oh, but contraire, au contraire, mon frère. To see his get his ass torn up here.
Giving them free apartments and welfare. It was by people who wanted to escape religious persecution, and they started building things, not just coming.
Religious persecution, and people still, for the most part, believe that lie. That the pilgrims came over here to escape religious persecution. First of all, that was never the case. That was the worst of them, the convicts. Same thing with Australia.
Coming here getting handouts. I mean, I've been a lot of places and I've seen a lot of people. And as soon as the truth is told and you don't like it, you just say racist. You're just.
Let's talk about the truth here, Pierce. I got to jump in here. When we talk about the founding of America, it was founded by European colonizers, built on the backs of enslaved Africans and on the genocide of indigenous people. To claim that it wasn't, just free handout, it literally was. The Homestead Act, which was finally repealed in 1987, gave hundreds of millions of acres of free land to white European immigrants while denying them to the descendants of
just gave them. I think there was a movie with Tom Cruise some years ago. What was the name of it? It showed that. Well, they just went out and just laid a stake. This is mine. This is the acts of a hypocrite. Still want to promote that lie that they worked hard to get everything that they have. And that's also used as a psychological ploy to make you feel guilty for not, you yourself not working harder, not realizing that that was the intent behind that all along.
enslaved Africans. And so even to this day, the single demographic, the largest demographic on public welfare are white Americans. But there is no accountability and restitution or reparations for the enslaved Africans and their descendants who suffered genocide. And we rewrite this history, well, we built up our bootstraps. No, you didn't. You built up on the backs of the enslaved Africans. And to the comment that Islam is new to America, 1/3 of those Africans were Muslim who were forced.
That is a religion, and it's not their nationality. We know that those that were Israelites were the ones targeted. Now, were some of those that were converted to Islam at the point of a sword, meaning they were as a result of war? Yeah, sure. But that's not their ethnicity. All right. Why did they target just West Africa? Nobody asks these questions because, again, you've been brainwashed. Again, look at all East Africa. Because it's different people. They were not Hamitic. They were Shemitic.
Into Christianity, who were beaten and murdered and raped. This is the legacy of this country.
America wasn't founded.
So there you have it. I wasn't going to take too long on that, but this, all right, is what a hypocrite, a liar, a deceiver, this is what they do. All right, and they've gotten so much mileage off of these lies. Of course, this is the will of the Most High overall for it to go as long as it did. Why? Because prophecy must come to pass, and it will. And there's nothing these devils can do about it, although they are trying. All right, but they're doing everything. When you read Revelation chapter 16, this is what's going on right now. All right, so this thing could actually kick off in any moment, but we know that certain things must, again, prophecies must happen first. All right, and the big one, when we say all roads lead to the MOTB, that's exactly what we mean. That has to happen first before this World War III kicks off. And the evidence of that is right before your face now. When we say the C-HIP, we're looking at all these technologies currently in effect. Actually, they have been in effect for quite a few years now. But technology is such now that they can carry out their wicked agenda. Hence, Project 2025 and Project 2030, right around the corner. So this is not the time to half-ass it and keep straddling that fence. And, all right, and call for repentance. That's the first thing you got to do. All right, and hey, pray always, as the scriptures always say. Pray for the brothers, your brothers out there on the highways and byways, wherever they may be around the world. Situations are happening now in Indiana. All right, Gary, Indiana. Hawaii. All right. We've had instances of heat domes throughout. Brothers still going out. Flooding. And it's only going to get worse from here on out. So with that, that's all I have for this. Again, these are the characteristics of this devil. Oh, well, one more. One I didn't get. When we say modus operandi, this one should have been one of the first ones. When we go to Micah here, 2:1, what does it say? Woe to the oppressors. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And this is what they do. They can't help themselves. All right, scriptures and Proverbs tell you that. They can't even sleep. All right, unless they devise some wicked shit. Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Stolen identity. The whole history of these devils is nothing but wickedness. So we got to make ourselves look good. How do we do that? Because it tells you that the nation of Edom, there's no hope for repentance for them. When you go to Hebrews 12, verses 16 and 17. So what do you Christians have to say about that? That blows that about everybody being able to be saved out the water. Verse 3, therefore, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil from which they shall not remove your necks, because you've been so arrogant about nothing happening to you because of what you've done to us, and you think that you've gotten away scot-free. Well, that's in the scriptures too. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. That's why your pride has gotten to the point where it is, because you are allowed to do what you're doing. Job 9 and 24. All right. 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter. He lets you do these things. But now these curses are being transferred. Deuteronomy 30:7. All right. It says, neither shall ye go haughtily or proudly, for this time is evil. So you're done. You're done. And we here, we're just got our bowl of popcorn, just watching it. All right. Because Zechariah 3:8 tells us it's a command. It said, wait ye upon me, saith the Most High, until I rise up to the prey. All right, so with that, once again, I'd like to encourage you to remain circumspect out here. Keep those eyes and ears open. All right, we're almost out of here. So with that, until next video, hey, shalom.